Raleigh or Charlotte? Charlotte or Raleigh? Which city is the best place to live in North Carolina? We're going to break it all down for you up next. Hi, I'm Chris Morton, real estate broker with eXp Realty in Raleigh, North Carolina. And on today's video, we're going to talk about Raleigh, North Carolina and Charlotte, North Carolina. Give you a comparison of the two so you can decide where's the best place for you to live. And if you're a local, it'll give you some bragging rights against your friends that live in the other city. But before we get started, I need to let you know there is no way in the world we can put all of the facts and figures and data about Raleigh and Charlotte in one video. So we will be doing a follow-up video to this. If you have any suggestions, please put them in the comments below. We would love to hear them. First topic we need to talk about is location. Raleigh is located very centrally in the dead center of the state of North Carolina, whereas Charlotte is located in the center, but more to the western part of the state. Driving from Raleigh to Charlotte is about a 2.5-hour drive. Charlotte is closer to the mountains, whereas Raleigh is closer to the coast. The closest beach to Raleigh is Wrightsville Beach at about 2 hours, whereas the closest beach to Charlotte is Myrtle Beach, South Carolina at 3.5 hours. A trip to the mountains is going to take you about an hour and 50 minutes from Charlotte, depending on what part of the mountains you go to. Whereas from Raleigh, it's going to take you about 3 hours. Next up, let's talk about population. The population of the city of Charlotte is around 890,000, which makes it the 15th largest city in the United States, whereas the population of Raleigh is coming in around 480,000, which makes it the 40th largest city in the United States. However, while Charlotte is about double the size of the city of Raleigh, you have to bear in mind that it's more of a metropolitan area to metropolitan area. So, Charlotte, Gastonia, Concord metro area has about 2.7 million people, whereas the Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill Triangle area has 2.1 million people. And if you know anybody in Raleigh area, you know it's basically one big giant city. Charlotte is a little bit different, but Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, Cary, Apex, etc., is all just one big giant city. Hard to decide where one city ends and the other city begins. Next up, let's talk about the feel of each city. Each city has a very different vibe to it. Charlotte is much more centralized, and their downtown area is actually called Uptown. I wonder why they don't have an uptown area they call downtown, but we're not going there. All in all, Charlotte is a much more denser packed city than Raleigh is. Raleigh has a very nice downtown as well, although again, it is not as densely packed as Charlotte's. There's still stuff to do there, but it's not that big city metropolitan vibe you're going to get from Charlotte. In Raleigh, in the Triangle, where people go to hang out is much more spread out. You've got not only downtown Raleigh, but you've got Durham, you've got Chapel Hill, you've got North Hills, you've got North Raleigh, as well as all the other cities like Cary and Apex and Holly Springs that all have their own downtowns and places to go. Overall, both Raleigh and Charlotte are great areas, but if you want that more big city vibe, Charlotte is probably more where you're looking. Whereas if you want a medium-sized city, suburban type atmosphere, Raleigh and the Triangle is probably your best bet. Next up, we'll talk about the culture. Both cities are changing dramatically with people moving in from all over the United States and in fact, all over the world. The entire state of North Carolina has a great reputation for Southern hospitality. You're gonna meet a lot of kind, nice, pleasant people, whether you choose Raleigh or Charlotte. Culturally, Raleigh has more of the museums because it is the state capital. It also has a lot more museums that are affiliated with the 3 major universities. Among the prominent museums in the Raleigh area are the North Carolina Museum of Art, the North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences, the North Carolina Museum of History, and the Contemporary Art Museum, and on and on and on. Raleigh also has the Duke Center for Performing Arts, as well as the Durham Performing Arts Center in nearby Durham, North Carolina, where you are going to be able to catch a Broadway show and lots of really cool shows like that. Charlotte also has many museums. Among them, the Harvey Gantt Center for African American Arts and Culture, the Beckler Museum of Modern Arts, the Mint Museum, and the NASCAR Hall of Fame. Charlotte also has the Blumenthal Performing Arts Center, where you're going to be able to catch Broadway shows as well. Next up, let's talk about the colleges and universities. In the Raleigh area, there are 3 major universities: NC State University in Raleigh, UNC Chapel Hill in Chapel Hill, and Duke University in Durham. According to the U.S. News undergraduate rankings, Duke University ranks number 12 in the nation, UNC ranks number 28, and NC State ranks 80th. Raleigh also has Wake Tech Community College, which is the largest community college in the state with 21,000 students. Charlotte's largest university is UNC Charlotte, part of the UNC system. Both cities have a number of community colleges, historically black universities and colleges, as well as smaller liberal arts colleges as well. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, make sure you subscribe. Next up, let's talk about the sports scene. Raleigh has the NHL professional Carolina Hurricanes hockey team. Durham, which is near Raleigh, has a minor league baseball team, the Durham Bulls. So famous they made a movie about him. Also, Raleigh is a pretty big college sports town, as you can imagine, with the 3 universities here, and all 3 universities are nationally known for their football, baseball, and of course basketball, among many other sports. Charlotte, on the other hand, has the NFL Carolina Panthers and the NBA Charlotte Hornets. As well, a minor league hockey team, the Charlotte Checkers. College-wise, Charlotte has UNC Charlotte as well as Davidson. Good schools, but definitely not at the level that you're going to see with UNC, NC State, and Duke. So to sum it up, if you're into professional football or basketball, Charlotte probably wins for you. But if you're into professional hockey or a college football, basketball scene, the Triangle is probably best for you. Next up, let's talk about things to do. Both Raleigh and Charlotte have a ton of things to do and have some really amazing outdoor activities. Charlotte has the Carowinds Amusement Park, which is located halfway in North Carolina and halfway in South Carolina. Charlotte also has the Whitewater Center, where you can participate in a ton of outdoor activities. Charlotte also has Lake Norman, Lake Wylie, and Freedom Park, as well as an extensive greenway trail with over 52 miles of greenway. As well, Charlotte's downtown is a beautiful walkable area with lots of things to do. You can catch a sports team, go to a bar, food, museums, just about anything you can imagine doing, you can do downtown, or in their case, uptown Charlotte. Raleigh, on the other hand, has the North Carolina State Fair, which brings people from all over the state and all over the region in the fall of the year. It's a big, giant event. As well, Raleigh has the State Farmers Market, which operates 7 days a week and is a great place to get vegetables, fruits, plants, just about anything you can imagine. Raleigh also has a number of parks, with Pullen Park, Dix Park, and Umstead Park, within easy driving distance of anyone in the Raleigh area. Near Raleigh, in Durham, at Duke University, is the Sarah P. Duke Botanical Gardens and the Duke University Lemur Center. So if you're into lemurs, Duke's the place for you. As well, Durham has a really cool downtown area. We've talked about before, a very, very happening food scene happening in Durham. Then you've got Chapel Hill, you've got all the other cities. So pretty vibrant area, good stuff to do. Raleigh also has plenty of outdoor spaces, including the Falls Lake recreation area where you can go boating, as well as the Raleigh Greenway with over 112 miles of trail for biking, hiking, running, jogging, whatever you want to do. Downtown Raleigh isn't as large as Charlotte's downtown, but there are still lots of fun things to do, bars, restaurants, great places to hang out downtown. Glenwood South is an area in downtown Raleigh that's really happening, really hot and popular, great place to go. As well, of course, you have the North Hills complex, which we talked about in an earlier video. We will link our walking tour of the North Hills video down below in the description, so please go check that out after you watch this video. The next thing to talk to you about is the restaurant scene. Of course, both cities are in the South, so you can definitely get your Southern cuisine, your fried chicken, your barbecue, your collard greens, your mac and cheese, and all the other delicious things we make here in the South. But because both cities are growing, the amount of food, the variety of food is growing as well. Just about any kind of cuisine you can imagine can be found in both Raleigh and Charlotte. Also, because of all that growth, several celebrity chefs and award-winning chefs make Raleigh home and have really improved the scene as well. Food halls have also become very popular in both cities. In Charlotte, you have the 7th Street Public Market and Optimus Hall. In Raleigh, you have Morgan Street Food Hall and the Transfer Food Hall. Next up, the important topic of shopping. We'll start with grocery stores. Both cities have a ton of really great grocery stores, including Harris Teeter, Lowe's Foods, Food Lion, Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, Lidl, Aldi, and just about any other one you can imagine. However, Raleigh has 3, soon to be 4 Wegmans. Charlotte doesn't have any. If you're not familiar with Wegmans, it's like the mecca of grocery stores. Highly recommend you check one out. Mall-wise, Charlotte has South Park Mall, which is a really nice mall that has a Neiman Marcus, Louis Vuitton, Tiffany, and a lot of other really high-end stores. Raleigh, however, has 2 primary malls, Crabtree Valley Mall in Raleigh and South Point Mall in Durham on the airport side of Durham, where a lot of the really nice stores exist as well, but just not as many of the high-end stores that you're gonna find at South Park. Next up, we'll talk about the economy and job opportunities. Luckily, both Charlotte and Raleigh are thriving areas with plenty of job opportunities. Charlotte is the #2 largest banking center in the entire United States, just behind New York City, and so of course banking is one of their primary industries. Raleigh is known for the Research Triangle Park, also called the Silicon Valley of the East, which is the largest research park in the United States. RTP has hundreds of different companies in areas such as science, technology, government, biology, academic institutions, and healthcare, and the list goes on and on. Overall, the Raleigh economy is more diverse and therefore is more likely to weather the storm of a downturn than Charlotte, which is more dependent on banking. Overall, both cities have a similar unemployment rate, with the per capita income of Raleigh being slightly higher than that of Charlotte. Next up, we'll talk about housing. Both Raleigh and Charlotte are insane real estate markets right now. There are a lot of people moving from out of state to come to both Raleigh and Charlotte. The current median home price for a home in Charlotte is $322,000, whereas the current median home price for a home in Raleigh is $317,000. Typically, homes in Raleigh cost more than homes in Charlotte, but with the way the housing market has been going lately, it's been a little bit topsy-turvy. But overall, the trend is generally that homes cost more in Raleigh. Next up, we'll talk about transportation. Both cities have fairly similar traffic and transportation issues going on right now because of the growth they're experiencing. In both cities, traffic is definitely getting worse, and in fact, it may be worse than you'd expect depending on where you're coming from. Charlotte has a light rail system, which makes it a lot easier to get from point A to point B. Raleigh, however, does not have a light rail system, so you're going to need a car to travel around the Raleigh area. Raleigh and Charlotte are also connected by a train. Charlotte has the Charlotte Douglas International Airport, which is ranked among the top 10 busiest airports in the world, with approximately 178 nonstop destinations you can get to from Charlotte. Raleigh, on the other hand, has the Raleigh-Durham International Airport with over 57 nonstop destinations you can get to from Raleigh. Next up, let's talk about the ratings each city gets. Niche.com gives Charlotte an overall rating of A, while Raleigh gets an overall rating of A+. Charlotte schools are given a rating of B+, where Raleigh schools are giving a rating of A. Charlotte gets a B+ for jobs, whereas Raleigh gets an A- for jobs. Cost of living is a B for both cities. And for diversity, both cities get an A+. These ratings by Niche.com are based on millions of independent reviews as well as government data. So which city is the best place to live? Well, it depends. If you're looking for a dense, big city, cosmopolitan, urban vibe, then Charlotte's probably a good place for you. If you're looking more for a spread out city, mid-sized city, suburban vibe, then Raleigh and the Raleigh area is probably right for you. I can't make the decision for you, although I can say Raleigh definitely should win because I live in Raleigh, so that's gotta count for some points. So that's what we got. We appreciate you guys watching. Please subscribe and like the video. We'd love you to do so, and we'll see you next time. This has been Chris Morton. Take care. Bye-bye.